phantoms have come to Animal Jam. Now, I don't know about you, but I definitely called it. I was hoping that phantoms would be playable, and not the pet phantoms or the phantoms that you get from Animal Jam Classic's Phantom Machine. I wanted a phantom I could slap a beret on and parade around like the little miscreant I am. So let's start with reading the newspaper. Whatever that is. Phantoms? This Night of the Phantoms, an unprecedented event. Strange phantoms have arrived with no evil intent. For the first time, become a phantom and roam through the land. Choose light side or dark side and make your own stand. The peculiar Phantom Bundle comes with a phantom and the exclusive spirited outfit. Alright, that sounds pretty nice. I'll probably be on neither side, but what about you, Fuzzy? Sounds about right. Let's go buy the bundle. Alright, there it is. So it's another bundle with some color options. I'm pretty bad at deciding those things, but, let's see what we have. Oh, all the colors look good too. I'm liking the orange one. It's got some nice striking colors, and I think I can use some of the clothes for my beautiful Halloween beret. Oh, okay, not bad. Okay, let's go make an outfit then. Oh, right. I forgot I made this garden 10. Oh, pardon the mess. Okay, let's make an outfit. Alright, let's make the outfit then. It's not bad. It kind of feels a little plain though, with just the gradient. Let's check the patterns. I'm hoping the devs made a radially symmetrical design, because I can't work with messes. Okay. Guess hearts are off the table. Can barely see them. Leaves don't make sense. Too menacing. Arson is bad. No. Oh! That looks really good, actually. I can't see much of the secondary color, though. Oh, the sharp spirals look pretty good. Oh, yeah, we're going with the swirls. Okay, let's look at the emotes. Oh, that's, okay, that's cute, yeah. Don't scare me like that, jeez. Ugh. How do you jump like this and not feel the immediate urge to empty your stomach all over the place? Can't be me, I'm too weak. Wait, that kind of reminds me of that one video I made a few years ago and never uploaded. I'm so cute! Huh. POV, you finished your test early in class. Oh, this was some great content and everything. Most people would probably end their video here. Oh, what? The other things in the update? No! It's not fair! I just want to have a dark side or light side beret! No! Rigged! Ah! I'm near the bottom. Please be a beret, please. Why? I would rather we not talk about that. You know what? I want to try taking this update a step further. Let's commemorate this incredible update by turning my new Phantom into a live puppet model. Well, that's not exactly the right name to call it. It's really called a vtuber model. Essentially what it is it's an avatar that mirrors your facial expressions, mouth movements, and head rotations. Most of you might know what PNG tubers are, static images that change when the person speaks. VTubers are not static images. They have endless possibilities, and they're just so fun. They're so fun. They have so many different expressions and things that you can do, and people really connect with them. So I'm gonna be making one of these today. And where do we start? Well, let's start with drawing the model. Here I have 2 reference photos from the game that I will be taking direct influence from to make it as close to the Animal Jam style as possible. I have drawing assist turned to symmetry so the model is the same on either side. This almost halves the amount of effort and time it would normally take to finish the drawing without sacrificing any quality. I did my best to use the images as a reference instead of tracing the actual work. We want to avoid taking anyone's work, and it's also not a bad thing if you see some of your own art style leaking through when referencing other artworks. It's more authentic that way. In this case, I'm allowing room for shakier line work. Since I'm using Procreate, I can only rely on the Streamline Assist to make smoother lines. But with Animal Jam styled art, they don't even use Procreate. If I were to guess their software, I would say it's very likely Adobe Illustrator. Illustrator offers a much different approach to creating art, using vector graphics to create sharp visuals. Since the animals are drawn very geometrical, it's likely they use the pencil tool to create a shape and edit it further until it fits the design that they're going for. I'm not using Adobe Illustrator because I haven't gotten used to it, and it doesn't fit my artistic process. It's a nightmare to use, so I just won't bother trying to make it work this time. Maybe one day I'll try it out for a video, but you know what? You would have to subscribe. Sorry, I don't make the rules. I wanted to add in that little bubble that you see surrounding phantoms in Animal Jam Classic. From my understanding, it acts as their eyes, even though they have one gigantic eyeball. It could just be a visual representation of their peripheral distance and thus serves little purpose in the design, but it's pretty so it stays, because I make the rules. I stay true to the art style by not using line art. For those who don't know how it's done, I recommend using gradients for objects with the same base color. That way you can differentiate what's what. I don't know a better way to explain, so I'll just cross my fingers and hope that you'll understand from the video. With the eyes, I wanted to mimic it as closely as possible with the reference image. The pupil has a ring of pure black that borders the inner gradient. It's a very soft color change, but it takes the image from a flat-colored shape to a stylized one, which is very appealing. As for the eye shine, I intentionally left a hole in the middle of it. If you turn the phantom from left and right in the creation screen and paid attention to the eye, you'd see the eye shine constantly changing its form as it traverses over the polygons. It's likely not intentional that there was a hole in the shine, but I thought it was pretty, so I kept it. I also added in a Myers feather because lore. We like lore. Now that the drawing side of the process is finished, I can now get the model ready to export in Live 2D Studio. Before that, I'll be cutting the model in half, specifically only the pieces that have mirrored copies. This will be explained later on. After exporting the file as a PSD, it's time to open Live 2D and start working on the setup. This is my least favorite part of the process. You basically wrap the individual pieces in a mesh of vertices and fill the middle with polygons. This will be the skeleton required to manipulate the shape of each piece of the overall drawing. This means that the process repeats for as many individual pieces you have to work with. In other words, it took hours and made me cranky. Next part is also important. All the pieces are divided into their respective groups. For example, all the feathers and scarf bands are placed into a group called the feather boa, and further separated by the parts of the scarf. The feathers are grouped together entitled feathers. The first thing I start on is the phantom's breathing idle. Phantoms aren't still when they're idle, they do a little bit of a floating animation. So I grouped the whole model and added parameters with the grouping that contains all the parts in the model. I then dragged the phantom down on one side and up on the other, then went back and used a warp brush to push the phantom head down on one side and up on the other side for a more realistic flying idol that doubles as the phantom's breathing. For this part, I work on the head, body, inclinations, and turns. Basically, think about turning your head left to right, or up and down. I had a little bit of issue with the eye's shape and had to work on it in a separate mesh. These are all terms that very little of you will understand, and that makes me feel smart and 5-brain. Most phantoms don't have visible mouths, so I'm lucky enough that I don't have to create all the complicated mouth shapes. But I want to make it obvious whenever the phantom is talking, so I decided to animate the scarf to look like it's moving along with an imaginary mouth. I followed a tutorial a while ago to make a dynamic tail for a certain model that I'm working on, which will be debuting shortly. And I suddenly thought I should try it on the tendrils. This method makes it so that when the character moves, the tendrils will move automatically with the movement. This method makes it so that when the character moves, the tendrils will move dynamically with the movement. So now I can explain why I cut the phantom in half. The reason is because when all of the work is done to rig one side of the model, I can then duplicate the piece and reflect it on the other side. So now it's time for the bubble to have some physics. I created 2 parameters and simulated what any normal bubble would look like when moving around. I then go to the physics settings and applied the parameters to the bubble, and then tested it. I then duplicated the bubble twice, with the first copy being set to multiply and the second copy to add, turning down the opacity so it's not so bright. This makes the phantom less muddied when inside of the bubble. Later I grouped the bubbles together and created a new parameter for an on and off toggle. This way I can choose to turn it on or off whenever I want, and this is how the bubble turned out. So I was trying to figure out how I would make the phantom hold the Myris feather since that's the initial plan. After some trial and error, I found that placing the Myris feather in the same grouping as the tendril glued it in place and stayed where it needed to be, even while the tendril moved with the physics. I wanted to make the feather look more lively while being swung around by the phantom, so I created the parameters and animated the movements. I then went to the physics settings and applied the animation. This is what it looks like when moving the phantom around with the feather. Now for the last part, uploading the model and exporting it to VTube Studio. Now let's see how the phantom turned out. Thank you so much for watching, and especially to those who made it all the way to this point in the video. I really couldn't have made all of this without the support I've been getting recently. If this support continues, I'll definitely be able to make more videos like these and improve the quality. And hey, let's see if we can make it to 3,000 subscribers before the year ends. Oh, and one more thing. I've been thinking about trying streaming out at some point. So do let me know if you'd be interested in something like that. Thank you so much for watching.